Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts to seize control of your life, some patterns seem to repeat themselves endlessly? Old habits that won't budge, self-doubt that sabotages your goals, or anxieties that lurk just beneath the surface. What if I told you that nestled deep within your mind is a vast reservoir of untapped power, one that shapes your reality every moment, whether you realize it or not? That reservoir is your subconscious mind, and in this video, we're going to explore its hidden depths and learn how to harness it to create the life you truly desire. The principles you'll discover in Joseph Murphy's timeless classic, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, will unlock breakthroughs in every area: health, wealth, relationships, and personal fulfillment. Even if this is your first encounter with these ideas, by the final frame you'll have clear, actionable practices for reprogramming your subconscious so that it works relentlessly in your favor. Imagine your mind as an iceberg floating in the ocean. Above the waterline is your conscious mind. Everything you're aware of right now, the thoughts you're thinking, the decisions you're weighing, the problems you're solving. Yet beneath the surface lies a far larger entity, your subconscious mind, which holds your beliefs, memories, impulses, and automatic habits. It continuously processes vast amounts of data, from the moment you were born until this very second, and directs your behavior in ways you rarely notice. For most people, this subconscious realm operates on autopilot, recycling old thought patterns and limiting beliefs that originated years, even decades ago. If you've ever tried to change a habit, eat healthier, exercise regularly, speak up in meetings, only to find yourself slipping back into familiar routines, it's because the subconscious is still driving the bus. The good news, however, is that once you understand how to communicate with this hidden powerhouse, you can overwrite those outdated programs and install new, empowering ones. Let's begin by examining how the subconscious actually works. Far from being a mysterious black box, it operates according to two guiding principles: suggestion and belief. Any idea, image, or feeling you repeatedly feed into your mind, whether through conscious thought, spoken words, or vivid imagination, takes root in the subconscious. Over time, as these suggestions become more entrenched, the subconscious treats them as truth, regardless of whether they align with objective reality. That's why a child who grows up believing they're klutzy will unconsciously seek out evidence to prove that belief, tripping over shoelaces, knocking over glasses, or fumbling with buttons. Conversely, someone who trains their mind to believe, "I am calm and confident," will begin to notice the subtle shifts that reinforce that statement. A steady handshake, a clear voice, compliments from colleagues. The subconscious does not debate. It simply executes. If you tell it, "I am sick," it will focus relentlessly on symptoms. If you tell it, "I am in perfect health," it will guide you toward behaviors, sleep, rest, healing choices that align with that image. The moment you grasp that your mind accepts as true whatever you impress upon it, you gain the key to transforming your entire existence. At the heart of Murphy's teaching is the idea that the conscious mind acts as the gatekeeper. It must deliberately choose which suggestions to send downward to the subconscious. And to do that effectively, we need to become vigilant observers of our internal dialogue, identifying thoughts that serve us and those that hinder us. For example, before a job interview, you might catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough for this position. Left unchecked, that thought will sink into your subconscious and sabotage your performance. Your newfound jitters, shaky voice, or distracted mind will all confirm that limiting belief. Instead, you can consciously choose to cultivate an alternative suggestion. I am well prepared, capable, and deserving of success. By repeating that phrase silently or aloud, visualizing yourself speaking confidently and feeling the calm assurance in your chest, you impress upon the subconscious the precise image you want to embody. Then, when you walk into that interview, your mind will unconsciously guide your posture, tone, and focus toward demonstrating competence. This alignment between conscious intention and subconscious guidance is what produces seemingly miraculous results. Of course, simply speaking a few positive words once is not enough. The subconscious mind thrives on repetition and emotion, on suggestions that are delivered consistently and felt deeply. Consider how you learned to ride a bicycle. The first time you wobbled, you consciously remembered to keep your balance, tighten your grip, and look ahead. But over subsequent tries, the mechanics of pedaling, steering, and balancing sank into your subconscious. Eventually, you could ride without thinking. Your body just knew what to do. Now imagine harnessing that same process for every area of life: health, prosperity, self-worth. By consciously choosing empowering beliefs and impressing them upon your subconscious, through repetition, visualization, and heartfelt feeling, you lay down new neural pathways until those thoughts become automatic. The stage is set for transformation. A fundamental technique Murphy emphasizes is the practice of mental imagery. When you imagine a desired outcome with vivid sensory detail and, crucially, with genuine emotion, your subconscious absorbs this perceptual data as though it were real. Suppose your goal is to improve your health. Rather than simply saying, "I want to get in shape," you sit quietly, close your eyes, and visualize yourself exercising easily, feeling the strength in your muscles, breathing deeply as your heart rate rises, noticing how the sunlight filters through the gym windows. As you do this, you evoke feelings of vitality, joy, and accomplishment. Over time, as you repeat this practice daily, perhaps first thing in the morning or just before bedtime, your subconscious mind incorporates those images into its operational blueprint. It doesn't ask whether you currently possess that strength. It only registers that this is the desired state, and it guides your conscious self toward habits that manifest it. Choosing healthier foods, seeking out a training partner, waking up earlier to exercise. This vivid mental rehearsal primes every cell in your body for action. Equally powerful is the practice of affirmation, which is simply a way of framing those suggestions in clear, concise statements, often in the present tense. Affirmations must be positive, stating what you want, not what you don't want. Personal, phrased as I statements, and repeated consistently to take hold. For instance, if you wish to enhance your financial situation, you might choose an affirmation like, "I am open to all the wealth the universe has to offer," or "Money flows to me easily and abundantly." Say it aloud each morning with conviction, write it in your journal before bed, and let the words resonate through your entire being. At first, your conscious mind will notice a disconnect. But I'm barely making ends meet. That's natural. because you're creating a new frequency that your subconscious hasn't experienced before. Persist through the initial awkwardness. As you keep feeding the subconscious this positive suggestion, ideally accompanied by a mental image of seeing your bank balance climb or hearing the thank you note from a grateful client, you build momentum. The subconscious responds by aligning your thoughts, intuition, and actions with a new belief, creating opportunities for income to appear. A timely contract, an unexpected referral, or a fresh idea that leads to a profitable venture. Another cornerstone of Murphy's approach is the recognition that the subconscious has no sense of humor and doesn't distinguish between benevolent and malevolent suggestions. If you worry excessively about getting sick, what if I develop that cough I had last year? Your subconscious hears it as a command to generate illness. That's why persistent anxiety about health can exacerbate actual physical symptoms. Instead, when you catch yourself slipping into what-if territory, you need to consciously interrupt that train of thought and replace it with something like, "Every cell in my body radiates health and vitality," or "I am surrounded by divine protection." Once you consistently feed the subconscious these empowering images, your physical body often follows suit. Stress levels drop, immune function improves, and you find yourself making healthier choices instinctively. This interplay between mind and body underscores the importance of monitoring not only what you think, but how you feel. Emotional states are the currency your subconscious uses to decide which suggestions to prioritize. Joy, gratitude, faith, and love all carry high vibrational value and unlock the subconscious's creative energies, while fear, doubt, and resentment send the opposite signal and lead to contraction. To illustrate how these principles work in practice, let's examine a real-life example that recurs throughout Murphy's book. A woman struggling with chronic back pain for years. No amount of physical therapy, medication, or rest offered lasting relief. Desperate, she began to explore the possibility that her pain had roots in her subconscious beliefs, messages she had internalized during childhood, such as, "I must always put others first," or "It's selfish to care about my own needs." She realized that her spine was literally carrying the weight of these unspoken convictions. With guidance from Murphy's techniques, she started a practice of daily visualization. She closed her eyes and pictured her spine bathed in golden, healing light. She imagined each vertebrae aligning perfectly, muscles loosening, tension draining away. As she visualized, she repeated affirmations. "My body is strong, flexible, and perfectly aligned. I deserve comfort and ease." She paired these mental exercises with sincere gratitude for her body's innate capacity to heal. Within weeks, the constant ache softened. After a few months, it disappeared entirely. Her doctors could not explain the sudden improvement, but she knew it was the result of rewiring her subconscious from the inside out. Of course, shifting ingrained beliefs is not always that swift or straightforward. Many of us carry narratives about ourselves. "I'm not smart enough," "I'll never find love," or "Success requires more luck than effort," that took years to embed. To uproot these, Murphy recommends a gentle yet persistent approach. Identify each limiting belief, write it down, and then craft a new positive statement that negates it. Instead of "I'm not smart enough," choose "I am intelligent, resourceful, and capable of learning anything I set my mind to. Every time the old belief surfaces, whether triggered by a challenging assignment or a perceived social slight, pause and consciously restate the new affirmation. Gradually, through repetition, the new belief takes precedence and the old one loses its power. This process requires patience and kindness toward yourself. Don't chastise yourself for falling back into old patterns. Simply observe, acknowledge, and redirect. Over time, the subconscious will accept the fresh narrative as its guiding script. In addition to visualization and affirmation, Murphy highlights the practice of sleep suggestion as a especially potent method for communicating with the subconscious. As you drift off to sleep, your mind moves into the alpha state, a deeply relaxed, receptive wave pattern, making it highly attuned to suggestion. Before closing your eyes, calmly repeat a concise affirmation like, "I awaken tomorrow energized, clear-minded, and ready to take inspired action." Picture yourself waking up refreshed, smiling, and filled with enthusiasm for the day. Let that image be the last thing you hold before sleep. Your subconscious, working behind the scenes, will process that suggestion through the night and guide your thoughts and behaviors upon waking to align with it. Many people report waking up with sudden clarity, unexpected solutions to problems, or a surge of motivation precisely because their subconscious was actively working to manifest the suggestion while they were unconscious. Over days and weeks of consistent sleep time practice, you'll notice remarkable shifts in your morning energy levels and overall sense of direction. Another powerful dimension of Murphy's teaching is the role of forgiveness in unlocking the subconscious's creative flow. Holding on to resentment, anger, or regret acts like a mental dam, blocking the free passage of constructive ideas and healing energies. Imagine resentment as a heavy boulder in a stream. The water can't flow smoothly around it, and the entire ecosystem upstream becomes stagnant. By consciously practicing forgiveness, whether of others or yourself, you remove those mental obstacles. You might quietly repeat, "I forgive name," and release all past grievances. "I forgive myself for holding on to pain, and I choose to move forward in peace." This act doesn't imply condoning harmful behavior. It means releasing the toxic emotional charge that keeps you tethered to past events. As the subconscious registers this new state of inner harmony, it opens pathways for deeper insights, creative breakthroughs, and emotional resilience. Projects that once felt stalled suddenly gain momentum. Personal relationships grow more harmonious, and your overall sense of well-being expands. Throughout the power of your subconscious mind, Murphy reminds us that the subconscious is inherently benevolent. It wants us to succeed, thrive, and experience joy. But because it obeys exactly what we impress upon it without discrimination, it's crucial to become the vigilant gatekeeper of our internal dialogue. That means catching negative thoughts at the moment they arise and swiftly replacing them with positive alternatives. It means choosing what books, media, and conversations you expose yourself to. Because every external input becomes raw material for the subconscious to process. If you fill your environment with negativity, sensationalized news, cynical talk shows, or toxic social media feeds, the subconscious absorbs that too, perpetuating fear and doubt. Conversely, if you regularly immerse yourself in uplifting stories, inspiring podcasts, and supportive communities, you're giving your subconscious the fuel it needs to craft a more positive reality. As you practice these techniques, visualization, affirmation, sleep suggestion, and forgiveness, remember that consistency is paramount. Just as watering a plant only once won't produce a bloom, sporadic efforts will yield minimal results. Set aside dedicated time each day for your mental exercises. Begin and end your day with affirmations. Spend 5 minutes visualizing your ideal outcomes. Before nodding off, deliver your sleep suggestion with full conviction. Whenever you catch a limiting thought, pause and consciously redirect. Keep a journal to track your observations. Note every small shift, every coincidence that seems like serendipity, every inner nudge that turns out to be inspired guidance. Over weeks and months, you'll build undeniable proof that the subconscious is working alongside you, sculpting circumstances and guiding your steps toward the life you want.